marijuana smoke. Throw you in a choke, don't smoke.
Community. It's your boy, the Bearded Wonder, taking notes. I finally got on. I don't know what was going on. I apologize for the delay. I was supposed to start like 20 minutes ago, but technical difficulties. Anyway, this is Taking Notes with the Bearded Wonder, brought to you by the Black in Business Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at Black in Business Podcast, on Instagram, Black_in_business. Of course, you can get us on the webpage, www.blackinbusinesspodcast.com. And of course, through email, blackinbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Community, it has been a whirlwind of a week since the last time I caught up with you guys. My co-host is now married, and that's dope. Congratulations yet again to Dre from Brooklyn. That's what this is over my shoulder. This little streamer here was from his wedding. Of course, I wanted to have that kind of highlighted in the picture. So yeah, I got a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but I got some, paraphernalia from the wedding all around at the podcast station, giving me good vibes, of course. But this particular episode, I don't know if you guys got a chance to read the description. I wanted to talk about something that's going on in our community as it relates to the pandemic and as it relates to the business aspect of the pandemic within our community. Of course, as we know, we're facing a crisis. All of us are going through it. It's a whole worldwide thing. But more so, I'm seeing a lot of people, starting their own businesses, which is great, phenomenal, trying to, make your own bag, punch your own clock, which is something I'm definitely trying to do. That's why this podcast is forever growing and evolving. But there's also a negative connotation to it. A lot of people, of course, are trying to capitalize on the pandemic and jump in and start their businesses, which is nothing wrong with that, like I said. But the problem is a lot of people that are starting these new businesses aren't doing any homework before they start it. They're just saying, hey, I'm going to jump in and do XYZ ABC and, throw it up against the wall and hope it sticks. And then leaning on people that are already established within that said sector of business, and looking for guidance and going about it the wrong way. I have no problems, mentoring anybody who wants to do a podcast. I'm not the end all be all. You're not looking at Charlemagne. You're not looking at DJ Kid Capri or any of those guys. I'm just a regular ass dude with extraordinary opinions and a point of view. But so I have no problems, like showing anybody, how to what it takes to do a podcast. It's not an easy undertaking. It's not an inexpensive undertaking. It requires a lot of homework. It requires a lot of time, a lot of energy, because I work a regular 9 to 5. And so this is my 9 to 5 is fueling this particular passion so that my passion can become my 9 to 5, if that makes sense to your community. But the problem that I have with anybody trying to take on a new venture is not doing the research first and then trying to jump in and, strike while the iron's hot, so to speak, and make, quick buck. I'm gonna put it to you like this. What you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you put in some bullshit, you're going to get out some bullshit, or people are not going to support your brand. They're not going to, do anything to help you monetarily. And that's been kind of bothering me. I've had a few people reach out to me and, and say, hey, I can't figure out why my business isn't taking off, or it's come to a stalemate. And it just doesn't It's just not adding up for me like it once was. And and in the same breath, they're saying I'm getting hit up in in my inbox or several different groups that I'm a part of. People reaching out to me saying, "Hey, how you do so and so? What's the best way to do this?" And they're like, maybe 2 weeks old into whatever say industry it is. I'm not making any specific points on purpose because I don't want to bring any. I don't want anybody to feel as though that I'm alienating them or calling them out or anything like that, because that's not what this is about. It's just when you're trying to make a point, or you're trying to make a mark in society and it be a positive mark, there's no half-assing it. Like, you gotta either go all in or don't do it at all. So it's kind of bothering me because I've been approached several times over the last maybe week about doing things in terms of getting a business started, or I've had people who have established small businesses and they're entrepreneurs, and they're like, well, I don't know what's going on. I was booming. Now I'm kind of off to the wayside. Nobody's really fucking with me right now, so I don't know what to do. And that's the thing. Like, if we post something from our business pages and you're a friend of mine, and share this shit out of that joint. I don't give a fuck if you flood everybody's timeline. That's the point. The point is we want to saturate the market, if you will, with our goods and services, and give you an alternative from, said Amazons, the said eBays, the said Etsy's, whatever. We're trying to build our own empire within ourselves, and I just don't think that a lot of people understand the undertaking that goes into it. But before I move on with that point, or drive that point home even further, is at the time of this particular live, we're a day removed from the last presidential debate. We're under 2 weeks from the actual election. I'm going to tell you guys this now, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart and from the depths of my soul. Please, by all means, prepare yourself for an adverse outcome. I know I flipped the script. I was talking about business and then I went political. I'm coming back to the business thing. And the reason why I brought the politics into it is because it's going to directly affect whatever business or businesses you may or may not run. Podcasting is something I can do anytime, anywhere, any place, and it not take away from my life. However, that also came or comes with me investing the amount of time that has been put into the podcast so far. Dre and I have come a long way in over just a little over a year. And we're still evolving, and we're still learning, and we're still trying to perfect our craft. We're putting ourselves in positions with different groups, different people we've even interviewed, we've kept a running rapport with. And ghetto bird flying over. What else is new? And we kept a rapport with them because we're trying to grow our business. And with this upcoming election, the results, of course, as we know, may or may not favor a particular group of people. So prepare yourself. Make sure you have enough money. Make sure you have enough groceries. And when I say money, I mean cash on hand. Because if the shit hits the fan, the shit's gonna hit the fan. You're not gonna be able to use your credit card or ATM or cards or whatever. So take your bread out before election day. Fill your cars up. Make sure you got ammo if you're a licensed and registered weapons holder, firearm holder. Prepare yourself. Because I said it before, and I'm gonna continue to say it. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And that's why I brought the politics into it, because those that are out here that have their own or have started their own businesses and have been established for some time, continue to press on. Because with this upcoming election, these results, that's going to propel your business, to be honest with you. That the small business sector is I have a feeling, I'm no expert. I don't have an inside track or anything like that. I feel like the small business sector is about to carry the economy for maybe about that long, but enough to stimulate it and get it back on track. Even the very thing that Dre and I are doing with the podcast may end up help carry our economy back to some semblance of quote unquote normal and normalcy. So if you got a business, press on. If you're just now starting a business, good on you. Not mad at that at all. However, before you press publish on your website, before you press record on whatever recording that you're doing, if you're doing podcasting or you're doing, some type of video, forms of video, whatever, AV, make sure you A, are ready, and B, you have done your homework and you're putting in, this is going to be the fruits of your labor. Like most of the community knows, when we first started this podcast, I took it as a hobby, and it still is a hobby, but it's a hobby that I want to make, and I'm going to speak for Dre on this, that we want to make, a full-time thing. And we've done the homework, we've put in the work, we've been reaching out. We got some new interviews getting ready to come up soon too, so be on the lookout on the webpage. Just make sure your homework is done. Like there's nothing wrong with trying to provide for yourself at all. There's nothing wrong with using your hobby to make that happen. But make sure the work's been put in. It's just like professional athletes, man. They didn't get to where they are by, faking it. They went out, LeBron took, 1,000 fucking jump shots at some point before he became professional to become professional. And he's taken thousands more since then, tens of thousands more since then. And I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm just using him as an example because he is he's a superstar. Everybody knows LeBron James. If you don't know LeBron James, I don't know what rock you've been living under, and wherever that is, by all means, drop that location in our chat, I guess. But do your homework, and mean it. It's got to come from here. It's got to be, your passion has to have some heart to it, or it's just not going to work. It just won't work. But also, even if you're bullshitting, stand behind it. Stand behind whatever your product is, even if it's a shit show. Stand behind it. Be confident in your product. I just realized something. I started this live and I ain't even my mojo. See, I knew something was off. bearded wonder fashion. Definitely in bearded wonder fashion, you know. But nah, do your thing. I want you to do your thing. I want to see our people, you know, come out on top. Also, that reminds me. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news or have been watching your social media feed, and if you have some conscious people, so to speak, on your timeline, there has been a discovery of remains from the Tulsa massacre. If you don't know what the Tulsa massacre is, look up Black Wall Street. You got Google. Just Google that shit, and it tell you what it was about. They actually found some remains from the 21 massacre, almost 100 years ago. Yeah, because it's 2020 and we're going into 2021. So there you go. That's interesting. And if you don't know, you know what? Screw it. I'm not even gonna get the mojo going. I'm just gonna go ahead and give a history lesson real quick. If you don't know what happened in 1921, what was going on in Tulsa, and what Black Wall Street is or was, because we're gonna get back to it. That's why I say it is. Black Wall Street was a community that was self-governed, all black, grocery stores, banks, theaters, or theater rather. And with theater, it doubled as a playhouse as well. So it was a movie theater, cinema theater, and also a playhouse. So you know, you see plays there too. Barbershops, general stores, like all kinds of things. And this was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in this very country. And it was destroyed by supremacists because it was self-governed, and largely because, of course, it was minority owned, black owned and operated and run. And there were numerous atrocities. Men, women, children, some of them, you know, buried alive, burned alive, all kinds of just horrific things done to them. And they're just now finding some of those remains, or possibly, hasn't been confirmed yet, possibly. And the reason why I'm kind of harping on that is going to bring this live full circle, is that if we can take the mindset of our ancestors, of what they had to use, and apply it now, do you understand how many millionaires to almost billionaires we would have in our own community if we supported the way we support the status quo, the way we support certain trends, the way we support certain brands? I'm not faulting anybody, you know, in our community for that. It's a learned and taught behavior, because we got stripped of our roots coming here, period, or brought here. You know, our language was taken from us, our religion was taken from us, our names were taken from us. And even overcoming that, I mean, that was just the beginning of what Black resilience is. Because after slavery was abolished, not too long after, we're talking within what, 50 years of slavery being abolished, that Black Wall Street existed. So it wasn't a huge time, but that is also a sign of evolution. It's also a sign of growth and prosperity within our own community, within our own people. I don't see why we can't get back to that. I don't see why, especially now, like there's it's so much backbiting, it's so much shit going on, yo. Like Why can't we get back to that? Why? I mean, like, for example, I know the biggest thing trending right now is, Ice Cube, and social media going off, man, he's selling out. Da-da-da-da-da. No. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand about someone with a vision or a clear-cut path to getting some answers. You got to hear both sides of the fucking spectrum. You got to see both sides of the spectrum. Like, you can't go to the table just with your ideas and be, closed-minded to what's coming at you. Like, you can't. So he, basically, he wants to sit down and see what both sides can do, and he be the mediator. He be the centerpiece of bringing this balance. And a lot of people giving Cube shit. And if you know Cube, like most of us know Cube, I mean, he was the only black man I know other than LL Cool J to not die in a movie. Referencing Anaconda. I'm just saying, like, Ice Cube didn't die in Anaconda. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. I mean, we're talking about a member of NWA. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the police. I mean, this is what we're talking about. Like, Cube is not with the bullshit, but he's also very smart. He's also very calculated. You got to look at his business model. Like, he went from NWA to building Cube Vision, which is his own production and movie company. That's what he wrote Friday under, the Friday franchise. He's also the owner or co-owner and co-founder of the Big Three. If you don't know what that is, that's a 3-on-3 basketball league. Former players, G League players, they play 3-on-3, and they go city to city, almost like AM1, which was the underground version of the Big Three. But that's a whole different wormhole I can go down, but I'm not going to. I'm just trying to drive this point home. Cube is the perfect person, in my opinion, in my very humble opinion, is the perfect person to lead the Black Lives Matter movement. He's smart enough, book-wise, and he's also smart enough street-wise. That's what you need. There's a 50-50 balance with that. And then in some instances it may be 60-40 or 70-30. Just depends on what the situation is. I think Ice Cube is fluid enough, no pun intended. I think he's fluid enough to make that work. And then not be like playing the fence, if you will, because he's not going to play the fence at all. So I mean, I don't know, community, like, this is my second live in as many weeks after taking a hiatus, and I'm still at a kind of at a loss of words and thought. With where do we go next? What are we trying to achieve and strive for? It's not an easy path at all. It's not going to be an easy path. We're going to lose some people along the way. And I mean that across the board in terms of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We're gonna lose some people along the way. Are you ready for that? Prepare yourself. Educate yourself. Strength in numbers is also strength in books as well. And again, like this one was supposed to be about backbiting in our community and within the small business community. Help out where you can help out. I'm just putting it out there. Don't, if somebody wants to come out with a Black in Business podcast and name it the same thing, I hope that shit is fucking dope. But I hope it's completely different than what the fuck we got. Don't sit up there and jock my style or jock our style and think that shit's gonna be a-okay. That's not what we're trying to do. Now, it'd be one thing you say, hey, look, I got a podcast by the same name, Black in Business Podcast as well. Can we have a conference call? Can we sit down and talk and compare notes and see how we can differentiate ourselves from you, it being though we have the same name or we're in the same genre? Goes across the board, goes with crafting, goes with art, it goes with podcasting, goes with video editing, it goes with everything. Like, I want your shit to be dope. I want it to be just as dope as mine, or ours rather, or doper. Like, I want you to have your own like niche. This is why I have taken notes. You know what I'm saying? It sets us apart from any other podcast because it is tied to the Black in Business Podcast, but it's its own entity. I want you to do some dope shit like that. One up me on it if you can. If you want to, hey, I love it. That's great. That means I'm watching another person gain ground and get traction. Yeah, I mean, so like I said, just make sure when you come out here and you start a business, be ready, be prepared, put the work in, do your homework, ask for help in advance. It's nothing worse than waiting till the 11th hour and going, hey, how do I turn on my computer? Motherfucker, you about to go live in 5 minutes, or you about to record in 10 minutes. That's why I'm so mad that I was delayed getting on, because I've been trying to get my shit straight basically 45 minutes before it was time to jump on. Because it's not perfect. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to adapt. You have to be very, very open to different adversity you're going to get within your own lane, within your own business. Because it's going to be there. Whether it's self-inflicted, whether it's external factors, it's going to happen. It definitely is going to happen. Community, I don't know, man. Like, what do y'all think? What do y'all think in terms of where we're headed in the next 12 days or so? And maybe even into the new year. Like, these are kind of the things we have to think about. If 45, I'm not even going to say that shit, because I don't want to put that in the universe at all. So once Joe Biden wins this election, there's going to be, backlash from the other side, from those that support 45. We're going to face a different kind of civil unrest. I was probably 10 or 11 years old when Rodney King was, rest in peace, when Rodney King was beat on camera. And that kind of civil unrest was pretty large scale. I was also very young, 14 or 15, during the Orenthal James or O.J. Simpson trial. And the outcome of that, the backlash from that, the one time in my lifetime so far that I've seen the justice system, the failed justice system, failed, and it blew up in the majority's face, and they were like, "Holy shit, no!" Like there was a lot of white people that supported OJ, and I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I'm just speaking what facts. That didn't support OJ, and when he got the not guilty verdict, no, what the fuck, man, no. You heard that shit. Like it was bizarre, and most black people were supporting OJ. Were like, yeah, that shit blew up in your face. Fuck you, man. Like that's it was one of those things, and it created a divide and some level of unrest. Let me get to the comments. Essie, thank you. Did you hear on the news that the Democratic Party was sending a threat, and if they win, it would be executed on national TV? I'm not surprised. I had not heard that at a time of broadcasting. I had not heard that. Thank you for the info. I will look that up. As a matter of fact, you're gonna send me into my other window, and I'm gonna look that up. No, I had not heard that. But I'm also, like I said, I'm also not surprised. That does not surprise me at all. Ironically, I thought that was going to happen, and I hate to say it. I hope it never happens ever, ever, ever. I thought it was going to be some type shit like that when Obama got elected. But I had a feeling that if anything had happened to Obama, it would have been a fucking, you talk about civil unrest. Y'all know we'd have burned some shit down. We'd have burned some shit down. Major monuments probably would have fallen. Some more shit. Had something happened to Barry, to the man Barack. But now let me go ahead and look this up. Let me see what Essie was talking about. Thank you for that tidbit. If you see me looking off, I'm looking into my other window. Let's see here. Oh, I just popped right onto my browser. Let's see. I'm talking about Antonio Brown. Yeah, no shit. It's just wild, yo. It's just wild. Let me see. Democratic Party. Let's try threats. Shit. It's the beauty of Google. This is what I was talking about. When I said, do your homework. Let's see. Democratic Party threats. News about Democratic Party threats. Yeah, let's click on this here link. Okay. I don't see anything as of yet. Let me try US. Hold on, let's see, because it's giving me some random shit. It's talking about who won the final debate. I only watched like 10 minutes of that shit, and I was flipping back to the Thursday night debacle as well. The other Thursday night debacle. NFC East sucks ass this year. Call it NFC COVID. It's the NF COVID division. That's what the fuck it is. They're playing like the fucking virus. I don't see anything, but I'm not surprised. Hold on, let me try top stories too. Let me try that. This is why I do these kind of little one-offs like this. Yeah. Oh, by the way, community, I did that. That's done. Yeah, I voted. I tracked my ballot. It has made it to where it was supposed to go. It's been counted. So I'm already in there like swimwear, gang. My vote's the fuck in there. And I'm not going to disclose who I voted for because it hasn't been an election yet. And they be watching my shit. So I don't need to get clapped for no dumb shit. Let's see. All right. I don't know. For right now, I'm going to say I don't see anything, but I'm not surprised. It's probably on social media and probably social media driven. So be careful with that too. While you guys on your social media platforms, careful with the clickbait, because that's just an algorithm. So if you didn't know that already, I don't know what rock you've been living under. So yeah. But I am not surprised. That's why I said what I said earlier in the stream. Make sure that you're prepared for whatever outcome we got happening in under 2 weeks. And if you're just tuning in, this is Taking Notes with the Bearded Wonder. And of course, it's brought to you by the Black in Business podcast, which is brought to you by Designer Custom Glasses, The Next Page LLC, and One Empire Mobile Studios. To find them, you can go to us because we love the interaction, number one. Number two, we like plugging shit. So that's what we do. But you can find us on Facebook, Black in Business Podcast, in the search bar. We're on Instagram, Black_in_business. You can get on the website, www.blackinbusinesspodcast.com. And you can, of course, book. You can catch this right here, taking notes up until it comes down, up until we switch it up. But you can catch that on the site live as well. The chat is also interactive there as well. And you can get in touch with us through email, blackinbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Just to give a little shameless plug on that. So yeah, be careful, guys. Make sure you you prepare yourself. If you're religious, pray. If you're not religious or you don't believe in any one particular deity, do what you got to do. You know, most importantly, be safe. Be safe. Be careful. Know that not all of us are going to make it through it from one way or another. Like I said earlier, whether it be physical, mental, emotionally, or spiritually, we're going to lose some people within our community, and they may be big names, big figureheads, may be the smallest piece in the cog, but just definitely be careful with that. Be careful while you guys are on social media, and what you click on, what you read, fact check best you can. I mean, unfortunately and fortunately, the internet is at our it's at our fingertips. We can look anything up at any time, but that's also a very dangerous place. Oh, not going anywhere. Not going anywhere quite yet. As he's dropping some more nuggets in here. I did speak about the black culture, and returning to Black Wall Street and what that was about during the early 1920s. And okay, all right. And she also talks about within that, reason why we can't get back to that is because it's too much hate. I kind of talked about that a little bit, but didn't phrase it as hate. I'll come back to that. I have to finish the rest of this quote here. And black on black crime, people are still talking about how Black Lives Matter. All right. I appreciate that, because now you have opened up a whole new can of worms. Now, in terms of us, your statement of we not being able to return or can't return to a Black Wall Street because it's too much hate, I wouldn't say it's necessarily hate per se. Yes, there is some hate, but I phrased it as backbiting, because it's not necessarily hate in all instances. Somebody could be legitimately trying to jump out into their own lane within a community of business or small businesses, and may have found some level of comfort watching someone else do it and say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna jump out there and do it. And then they get out there and don't realize it's not as easy as just drawn on a t-shirt, or grabbing a microphone and plugging it into your computer and pressing record. It's not, there's different levels to it. It's different nuances, for lack of better terms, within it. So I wouldn't necessarily call it hate. I don't completely disagree with that part of the statement, because there are some people out there that would jump out there and they say, I could buy, I'll use one of our sponsors, for example. Salute, designer, I appreciate you, but I'm using you in this particular example, so don't shoot me, and don't drop us from the sponsorship. That would not be cool. It'd be somebody that would go to her probably and be like, hey, how much for a tumbler? She goes, $45. That's probably not how much it is. I'm just throwing it out there, just making a number for argument's sake. Oh, I can get the same thing on Amazon for, $16 cheaper, or, okay. That's mass produced. It doesn't have the same, feel to it. Like, for example, this is one of the products that designer makes. She hooked me up. I wouldn't even dare look on Amazon or a competitor's site for that. Now, what I will do though is I'll buy a tumbler from her, and I know another crafter, Crafty B, I get at me, salute, and get something from her that might be completely, it'd be chalk and cheese different from what designer drops. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a tumbler, but the feel is going to be different. The depth of the colors are going to be different. Like, it's going to be a completely different feel. It's going to be a completely different entity within itself. So I'll definitely do that. Like, I'll patron, 2 Black-owned businesses or 2 small businesses for what you would consider the exact same product, but it'd be custom or slightly different, or the color be brighter or whatever. Like, I'll do that. I have no problems doing that. I think that's pretty fucking dope, because it's money going in different pockets, but it's still staying within the community. So yeah, I can understand, that hate part, looking for the discount. We're doing a podcast. Our podcast is free to get on. Like, we don't charge an appearance fee. But when that happens, once that starts happening, you can go on somebody else's podcast. That's fine. Somebody else that has a free podcast. That's perfectly fine. I can't say this enough. Every guest that we have has said the same thing. You guys are a lot of fun. This was completely different than what I thought of. I had my own answers and questions kind of written up. I ended up throwing them away because this turned into a conversation. It was, you're not going to get that anywhere else. That's what sets us apart. That's what makes us different. Even though there's several podcasts within our genre, and we appreciate the competition, is healthy, but they're completely different. Most of them are numbers driven. I listen to that kind of stuff. That's just, you gotta see what your competition is. That's part of the homework. That's part of investing in yourself. So I mean, there's that aspect of it as well. Let me see the other part, Black on Black crime, and with people still talking about how Black Lives Matter. Now, this is an area of contention within society about the whole Black Lives Matter movement. And I won't let me rephrase this before I even say it. I will try not to give my bias or opinion on that particular point of view, but I will say this. That is something that is systemic within our community. It has been for at this point now, I want to say 2 generations roughly, because like my generation, early on in my generation, it was a lot of black on black crime, especially being from DC area. I mean, if you were alive in the late 80s, early 90s, y'all, all I gotta say is Rayful. Because know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Actually, correction, it was more like mid 80s to early 90s. Rayful was doing a whole bunch of shit, and there was a lot of, you know, black on black crime and robberies and drive-bys and all kinds of shit. But it was also a different level of police brutality at that point too. The Black Lives Matter movement, as you know, has matured into what it is because of our treatment and oppression from the law enforcement community and from the judicial system. I think there is a long, unfortunate history in that particular aspect of our movement. It kind of, you know, stems back to maybe my mom's generation during the Black Panther movement and civil rights. You know, it kind of stems from that because, you know, there was no social media back then. There was no instant gratification back then. There was no send button and boom, you know what I'm saying? You get, you know, you get your answer or you're ordering something. Like there was none of that. So they had to march. They had to have sit-ins. Now it being, you know, we've got tiny computers in our hands and we can connect with the rest of the world instantaneously. I think that has a lot to do with it. And with that, it is propelling the Black Lives Matter movement in a different way. In terms of the black on black crime, like I said, it's been systemic within our community because there's nobody advocating for our community within our each local like community. There's no guidance there. So I think that's where a lot of that black on black crime comes from. Like I said, I'm not trying to give my opinion or bias on that particular juncture or that particular part of the conversation, because that's a deep one, and I could jump down that wormhole for a very, very long time. And I really, as much as I would love to, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, BLM, Black Lives Matter movement is going to continue to escalate and grow. Again, it's going to tie back into what happens on election day. Whole world's really looking at us, and it's scary, man. We're in very difficult times. 45 ain't doing it. We need to change, and that shit needs to happen like yesterday. Legit, should have never got the fuck in there to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, community, I'm gonna get up out of here, let you go about your Friday night. It's your boy, the Bearded Wonder, coming to you from YouTube, and this has been Taking Notes. And of course, I don't have the rights to any of the music that's played on this channel. So please, YouTube, don't fucking clap us and try to edit shit out and all that dumb shit. I'm gonna play my fucking theme song. Like that's gonna fucking happen every time, but we don't own the rights to it. So I just wanted that to be known as well. And it's your boy, the Bearded Wonder. It's been real. It's been trill. You're going to hear the sounds of the Notorious B.I.G. on our way out, baby.
Yeah. We get a show. Who got it going on? Get that wrong. We get a show. Who got it going on? Get that wrong. Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke.